You are not stuck. You are backing away at the exact moment things start to work. Every time it gets difficult, you tell yourself something is wrong, but nothing is wrong. That's the shift beginning. Day, you sit there, staring at the work, switching tabs, checking your phone, convincing yourself you'll come back stronger later. But you never come back stronger. You come back reset. Day, this is the pattern you refuse to see. You don't fail in the beginning. You don't quit when it's easy. You break right before it matters. And what makes it worse is that it feels logical. Day, it feels like you're being smart, adjusting, reevaluating, taking a break. But that's not strategy. That's disguised retreat. This is where most people lie to themselves. Day, because the hardest phase doesn't look dramatic. There's no clear signal, no milestone, no applause, just resistance, just doubt, just a quiet voice saying, maybe this isn't working. Day. And you listen to it every time. You think success should feel like progress. But right before it happens, it feels like confusion. This is the part no one prepares for. Day. You start questioning everything. Your plan, your ability, your timing. But the truth is simpler than you want to admit. Day. You're not confused. You're uncomfortable with the version of yourself that this next level requires. So you step back into what's familiar. You slow down. You hesitate. You reset. Day. And then you call it starting fresh. But it's not fresh. It's the same loop, repeated with new excuses. And here's the part you keep ignoring. Day. If you always stop at the hardest phase, you will never know how close you were. What you call inconsistency is actually a system, not a random one, a predictable day. Repeating internal structure that runs every time you get close to progress. And until you see it clearly, you'll keep thinking the problem is effort. It's not. Day. There are a few mechanisms operating underneath your behavior. The first is self-deception. You don't quit directly. You reframe quitting. You say things like, I need to rethink this. Day. Or maybe this isn't the right approach. It sounds intelligent, but it's just a clean way to step away without feeling weak. This is where most people protect their identity instead of improving it. The second is the avoidance loop. Discomfort shows up, you delay, reduces pressure, your brain rewards of you. Next time you delay faster, Sybil. Brutal. Automatic. Day. And every time you escape that difficult moment, you train yourself to escape sooner the next time. That's why it gets harder, not easier. The third is emotional negotiation. Day. Instead of following a standard, you start negotiating with your mood. I'll do it later. I'm not in the right state. I'll perform better tomorrow. Day. But tomorrow is just another version of today, with the same pattern waiting. And this is the part you don't notice. You think you're making decisions, but you're actually following a script. Day. Here's how it plays out in real life. You sit down to work. You know exactly what matters. You even start strong. Then it gets slightly difficult, slightly unclear. That's it? You open another tab. Day. Check something irrelevant. Tell yourself you'll just take a minute. And the moment is gone, not because you can't do it, but because your system is trained to exit at resistance. Day. This is not about discipline yet. This is about awareness of the pattern that controls you. Because once you see it clearly, you can't pretend it's random anymore. 1. Day. You mistake resistance for a stop signal. Here's the shift you keep missing. Resistance is not a warning sign. It's a proximity signal. But you've trained yourself to interpret it the opposite way. Day. The moment something feels heavy, unclear, or mentally demanding, you slow down, not because you decided to, because you conditioned yourself to. This is where most people lose control. Day. They think difficulty means misalignment. They think friction means something is wrong. But friction is the requirement. This is where most people lie to themselves. Think about your work. Day. There's always a point where things stop being smooth. where you can't rely on momentum anymore. You have to think harder, focus deeper, stay longer. That's the edge, day. And instead of staying there, you escape it. You switch tasks, you clean something, you check your phone, not because it matters, but because it removes pressure, day. A short relief that costs long-term progress. And here's the identity problem underneath. You see yourself as someone who works hard, then only in conditions where it feels manageable, day. That's not discipline, that's preference. Discipline is doing what you know must be done, even if you don't want to. Jim Rohn, that line sounds simple, but this is where it actually applies. Day, not at the beginning, not when you're motivated, at the exact moment you want to stop. Because if you leave it resistance, you train yourself to never pass it, day. And if you never pass it, you never reach anything that requires it. That's the cycle too. You reset. Instead of building through you, don't fail because you stop. You fail because you keep restarting, day. And that sounds productive, but it's not. Every time you hit that difficult phase, you don't push through it. You abandon it and start something new. A new plan, a new routine, day. A new version of this time I'll do it right. But you're not fixing the problem. You're avoiding the stage where the problem shows up. And this is the part you ignore every day, day. Because every plan works until resistance appears. And when it does, you interpret that as a flaw in the plan. So you reset. Let's make it real. Someone starts going to the gym, first week, consistent, day. Feels good, clear progress, second week, fatigue sets in, motivation drops, results slow down. Now comes the moment that matters. Instead of adjusting and continuing, they stop. A few days off turns into a full reset. Next week, they're starting fresh again, but they didn't fail because the routine didn't work. They failed because they never stayed long enough to adapt, day. This is how people stay busy, without moving forward, because restarting feels clean. It removes the discomfort of being in the middle, but progress doesn't happen at the beginning, day. It happens in the part you keep avoiding. If you constantly reset, you stay permanently in the easiest phase, and that phase never changes you. 3, you protect comfort instead of expanding capacity. You say you want growth, but your behavior says you want controlled discomfort, day. Only enough pressure to feel productive, not enough to force change. That's the contradiction. Growth doesn't come from effort alone. It comes from capacity expansion, day. And capacity only expands when you stay inside pressure long enough. But you don't stay. You manage it, you reduce it, you escape it. This is where the pattern becomes invisible, day. Because it doesn't look like quitting. You still show up, you still try. But you keep your effort within a safe range. You avoid the deep work, the focused stretch, day. The part where your brain resists and demands relief. Let's take money as an example. Someone wants to increase income. They learn, plan, maybe even start something, day. But when it comes to uncomfortable actions, selling, outreach, rejection, they hesitate, they delay, they overthink, they stay busy with preparation instead. Why? Because preparation feels safe, day. Executions exposes them. So they stay in the zone where their identity isn't threatened, buzzy, but protected. And that's the real cost. You're not just avoiding discomfort, day. You're avoiding the version of yourself that can handle more. And if you never face that version, you never become at point 4, day. The moment that decides everything, there's a specific moment that determines whether you grow or repeat. It's small, quiet, almost invisible. No one sees it but you, day. It's the moment right after resistance appears, and right before you decide what to do next. That's it, no grand decision, no dramatic turning point. Just a simple choice, stay or escape, day. And this is where everything splits, because in that moment, your identity is not what you say, it's what you do. You either reinforce the pattern, or you interrupt it. There's no neutral option. Day. Let's ground this. Late at night. You plan to work. You sit down. Start 5 minutes in. It feels heavy. Your brain suggests a break. Now you're in the moment. If you leave, the pattern wins again. Day. If you stay even slightly longer than you want to, something shifts. Not instantly. Not dramatically. But you send a different signal to yourself. I don't leave when it gets uncomfortable. Day. That's how identity is built. Not through intensity, through decisions at pressure points. Because success doesn't come from doing more overall. It comes from handling that moment differently. Day. Every time it shows up. At this point, the problem is no longer unclear. You're not lacking information. You're not missing strategy. You're facing a standard you haven't fully accepted. Because once you see the pattern, responsibility becomes unavoidable. You can no longer say, I didn't know. Now it becomes, I chose not to stay. That's a different weight. Day. And most people don't want to carry it. So they go back to distraction, back to complexity, back to overthinking, anything to avoid a simple truth. Discipline is not something you turn on. Day. It's something you live inside of, not occasionally. Not when it feels right, but especially when it doesn't. This is where identity replaces effort. You don't ask, do I feel like doing this? Day. You operate from, this is what I do. No negotiation, no emotional debate. Because the moment you start negotiating, you've already lowered your standard. And standards define outcomes, not goals. Day. Not intentions, standards. This is the part most people never stabilize. They rely on motivation to carry them through hard phases. But motivation disappears exactly when it's needed most. Day. So if your system depends on it, will collapse right at the point of pressure. That's why your results feel inconsistent. Day. Not because you can't perform, because your identity is not stable under stress. And stability is built through repetition at the edge, staying when you want to leave. Day. Continuing when it feels unclear, finishing when it's uncomfortable. That's how behavior compounds. Behavior, identity, life outcome, not instantly, but inevitably. Day. And whether you realize it or not, you're already compounding something. The only question is it discipline or is it avoidance? There's nothing dramatic left to understand here. Day. If you look closely at your life, you'll see it already reflects your repeated decisions at resistance points, not your intentions, not your plans, your decisions under pressure. Day. That's the only real evidence. And once you accept that, something shifts internally because you stop waiting for a version of yourself that finally gets it. Day. You stop assuming clarity will solve discipline. It won't. Clarity without execution is just awareness with no direction. What actually changes things is simpler and harder to ignore. Day. You either stay when it gets uncomfortable or you don't. And that choice, repeated enough times, becomes your identity without asking permission. No announcement, no transformation moment. Just repetition shaping who you are becoming. At first it feels small, almost insignificant. You stay a little longer. You resist the urge to escape. You finish something you normally would abandon. Day. Nothing external changes immediately, but internally, something stops negotiating. And once that shift starts, the excuses don't disappear. They just lose authority. Day. Because you've seen what happens when you don't obey them. And more importantly, you've seen what happens when you don't. That's where quiet certainty comes from. Not emotion, not motivation. Day. But evidence built through your own behavior. And from that point forward, you don't need pressure from outside. You simply stop breaking at the edge.